Hey everybody, it's Cyborg, and I'm joined by Temp, as always, and we have today Injustice Year 3, issue number 9. So, without further ado, like, share, subscribe, if you haven't already. But we're happy that you're checking it out, and we're having fun here. So we're happy to see you. Will we see you tomorrow? I don't know where I'm going with that, so we're just going to keep on rolling. Okay, so let's jump right into it. I have the comic pulled up here. I'm going to go back to the start and... Okay. You're back at the start. So, we start off with Deadman, also Nightwing, who are one, in case you aren't caught up thus far, which if you aren't, then you need to go back and watch the other ones. Okay. So, Deadman is flying through Arkham. Do I call him Deadwing? Do we do Deadwing?
Deadwing is a great name.
There you go. Okay.
I feel like it's used elsewhere, but it is a fantastic name.
Let's do Deadwing. That way I can just knock them both out in one. So we have Deadwing flying in through the window there. He's incorporeal, so no one can really, or intangible, incorporeal either. No one really can see him. And he goes into one of the guards. Meanwhile, we see laughing, maniacal laughing going from the hallway and from one of the cells. So he takes control of one of the guards and he opens the cell and he says, "We need to talk." And the person inside is just laughing maniacally. Talk, talk, talk. And we can assume this is Jim Corrigan.
I didn't recognize him at first. At first I thought it was Jonathan Crane. Or I thought it was Two-Face. Then I realized his face wasn't scarred. So I'm like, okay, well that's not... I went through like 4 people until I finally realized
Scarecrow's
it was
dead. And
yeah.
Two-Face, yeah, the whole not being Two-Faced.
Yeah.
I figured it was Jim Corrigan just by our thought process that we're on. It makes sense. So I figure that would make the most sense that he would try and find Jim Corrigan. That's what we knew he was trying to do. So this makes sense. So anyways, and then we go back to the Tower of Fate, and Batman and Superman have a small little exchanging of words before the fight begins, and Batman's team take their pills, except for Constantine and Dr. Fate, because they don't need no pills. They're strong enough as it is, not their style. And Dr. Fate said, and I like how Harley like tosses hers up in the air, and like tosses it up in the air and catches it in her mouth, type of thing, like you'd do with popcorn or something. Out of laugh that she missed. It's like it's on the ground. So we see Dr. Fate immediately teleport the battle elsewhere in the Tower of Fate, which I hope this version of the Tower of Fate is a stage in Injustice 2, because that would be absolutely awesome. It's the old staircases are going all sorts of ways and everything's all messed up. So like gravity seemingly has no place in here. So that type of stage would be awesome.
It's very much the concept the Doctor Strange film ran with when they were changing environments.
Exactly. So I would love to see that in the game. Hoping we get Tower of Fate would make sense. And we see different characters pair off to fight. Sinestro and Catwoman, Batman and Superman, Wonder Woman and Batwoman, Harley and Shazam. And they have a fun moment where she says, "You have a totally cute name, Shazam. It's an acronym, isn't it?" And Shazam says, "Acronym." She goes, "Yeah, like scuba or boom." She throws her giant oversized mallet at Shazam. He catches it and he says, "Boom's not an acronym, Harley." And she says, "You're kind of charming when you're gullible." He questions it and boom. So, weird little exchange between those two. Interesting, and continue fighting. Batman gets thrown into Dr. Fate. Constantine is trying to come up with like a escape plan. And all of a sudden, Clarion gets destroyed by Sinestro, apparently. He just gets obliterated, so poor guy. I don't even know where his cat is. Poor cat.
Yeah, this whole next exchange is kind of strange, but go on.
Yeah, so anyways, he gets destroyed by Sinestro. I mean, we don't really see him die, we just see him get blasted, so we don't really see a body or anything, but later on it is pretty much confirmed that he does die. And we have Wonder Woman freaking out, saying, "You attacked with his back to you. This is," and then he counters back with, "This is war, Amazon." Superman says, "That's murder, Sinestro." Sinestro says the alien who was trying to extricate Batman's head from his body, "Spare me your petty distinctions." who knows what the like that? Yeah, if that's what you're talking about, that doesn't really
Yeah,
make
that's exactly
sense.
what I'm
Like
talking about.
Wonder Woman's such a weird character. Like she just seems very flip floppy in terms of what she considers acceptable. It's like she'll be crazy string puller and isn't afraid to get her hands dirty and kill people and all of that, but yet she's I don't know. Maybe it's just her problem with Sinestro, but then even Superman jumps in like that's murder.
Yeah,
Like
all three of them are weird.
you pummeled Green Arrow's face into the ground till it's mush. So I don't know why.
Over a flesh wound, an accident. Even Sinestro's weird because Sinestro, what happened to there are circumstances, Superman, where sometimes we have to do things that we're not terribly. All that just out the window. Sinestro's like, hey, Superman, why don't you just shut the fuck up? Did you ever think about that? Like, just all that's out the window. Like, no pretense anymore. I mean, everything else in the issue, honestly, is good. This is the only kind of moment that doesn't work for me. But I feel like, someone who wears a very expensive tie came downstairs and said, guys, can you hurry this shit up? I feel like that's what's happening here. So.
Yeah, it does feel like the writers being a little bit more rushed here because things aren't... I mean, so far in the entire series, what they've done has been really, really good. And they're usually good about maintaining consistency and not, contradicting themselves with some of the things that the characters do. And they usually wrap things up really well. Like, they tie things up really well and intertwine things really well. And, yeah, this issue and the last issue definitely have had some issues with not making sense with some of the characters' actions and what they're doing. So there's definitely some of that going on.
Maybe there's another reason, too. Maybe someone in the DC building didn't like how bad Superman was turning out. So, in the last 3 issues, maybe someone said, hey, can you dial back the evil a bit on Superman?
Yeah,
I don't really like what you're doing with the character right now, so, yeah.
Yeah, that would be a shame, but yeah, who knows what's going on. But anyways, continuing on, they have their little squabble between them, and Constantine essentially teleports them out. Or not teleports them out, but teleports Trigon in. And Trigon immediately says, there you are, and we're left off on the chapter there. And we'll continue it immediately on the next chapter here. Trigon says, you will burn for what you've done, Kryptonian. And Superman's kind of confused by this, what I've done. And Trigon just immediately grabs him before he can really explain himself and starts, And the others are trying to take this opportunity to get the hell out of there.
Yeah, this was fun. I liked this a lot. This was a cool little unrolling of events.
Yeah, so then we have a fun little moment with Harley where she says, oh my god. It's the guy from Legend. I love that movie. Are there going to be unicorns too?
Yeah, that was tight.
Hal says Shazam should go find Raven and fix this so Trigon doesn't think that they're the ones that took Raven. And it's explained that the reason why he's under that assumption is because it looks like Constantine spread some rumors about them being the ones that took Raven.
Well, even better, Etrigan spread the rumors. Yes. So Etrigan's walking through hell being like, hey, you want to hear some shit? Like, that's hilarious to me.
Yes, and it's always got to be done in rhymes, too. So I'm sure that those conversations would have been fun.
Oh, yes.
So Trigon's just wrecking shop, and they're all trying to stop him while Batman's team's essentially trying to get the hell out of there. Harley doesn't want to leave because she doesn't want to miss the unicorns. She's starting to have a little crush on Shazam, as she usually does. And, yeah, the rest, like I said, they're all trying to get the hell out of there. Then we have... Let's see. Then we have Ares once again just get destroyed. I felt so bad for Ares because this is twice now where he finally gets like physically involved, and going way back to the Wonder Woman, I think that was all the way back in issue 3 of the very first year, he gets destroyed by Wonder Woman like pretty easily. Decimated, gets his hand cut off, gets a sword stabbed and pinned to the ground through his spine. And then here he just gets gutted by Trigon, like, with no effort. Like, he's the jobber of this damn comic. I felt so bad. And he's so intimidating, like, looking. He has such a presence about him, and then when he's like that big, tough bully that when he gets punched once, and he's like, ow! So, yeah, it's kind of funny.
Ares has brought me much joy in these comics, more than I ever expected. I'm very happy with him.
So yeah, that's kind of funny that all goes down. Um, we see Hal get blasted through the wall, and he's kind of floating off outside as Deadwing makes his way inside, and he's wondering why Trigon's here. Meanwhile, we have a pretty sad, touching moment between Detective Chimp and the rest. He said, Constantine asks, "What's the plan?" Detective Chimp says, "I've located a suitable landing spot. It'll provide some magical protection on Earth." Fate says, "All the preparations have been made." The rest say, "Okay, let's get out of here." And they're going to go ahead and go. Harley says, "Come on, Cornelius." That's just name. I don't know if that's like his actual name or if she just took that name upon herself.
When I read it, I thought it was. I'm like, I didn't even think twice about it. I'm like, I guess his name's Cornelius. I didn't even think of that, actually. It just worked.
She probably just named him that. I don't know that a whole lot about him.
Now.
But come on, Cornelius, you go with me. He says, "I can't. I was only ever here because Clarion conjured me." And he says, "I'm afraid with him gone, I will once again cease to be." She says that's not fair. Batman thanks him for everything. And all of a sudden, just like that, poof, he just disappears. And she says, "Bye, world's greatest monkey detective." So that was sad. I didn't want to see him go. Like, that sucks.
Yeah, I really enjoyed him as well. I think he was a very good contribution. Yeah, I just part of the spirit of things being a little more rushed than they usually are, but he had a good run. Very happy with the detective. This is the first time I've ever seen him in anything, actually. I don't know anything about the Constantine lore, so really enjoyed his presence in the comic.
Yeah, so that sucks. He was a fun character, so sucks to see him go. We also lost Clarion, but definitely Detective Chimp was kind of like, letting the air out of the balloon a bit. Then we see Deadwing come in through the wall. He says, "Bruce, I need to tell you something." And obviously Batman's taken aback at how this is even possible. And Deadwing explains that, he has the power of Deadman, but that's not important right now. "I was just at Arkham where I found Jim Corrigan in a straitjacket. He was jokerized and laughing hysterically," so we do get it confirmed that it was indeed Jim Corrigan. We see Harley going through the portal in the background. I wonder if that is foreshadowing that maybe she played a part in this. We're not really sure. Batman's wondering how the Joker could be involved in this, how that's even possible. But then Deadwing does explain it wasn't a toxin, it was magic based. He was under a spell cast by the being who took his identity and posed as the Spectre. Same being that has been protecting Superman this whole time. Batman says, "Being? Who is it?" And then we see Shazam looking for Raven and the rest, and he does come across Cyborg, but Dr. Fate's there, and he creates a giant blast that knocks Shazam back just long enough for Dr. Fate and the rest to escape. And Batman says, he explains that they've got a serious problem. Constantine explains that they're in the House of Mystery. So,
which I wasn't familiar with.
The House of Mystery is where they initially came across the Spectre, I thought.
Okay.
I could be wrong on that, but I think that's where it was. I know that was the House of Jason Blood, but I don't... Or Jason Blood, was that his name? Etrigan's body? I can't remember. His host.
I think so, yes. That sounds right.
Something Blood, either way. We'll just call him Mr. Blood. But yeah, they're in the House of Mystery. I think that's his house, but I mean, it looks similar to what his house looked like. I remember being like a giant mansion like that, but I could be wrong on that. I'm sure we'll get it explained. Then we go back to the Trigon fight with Superman and the rest, and he's still decimating them all. He's just totally dominating them. All of a sudden, poof, he gets like blasted by something and knocked out seemingly, and we get, of all the frickin' things, of all the characters to bring into this, we get Mr. Mxyzptlk from Superman. It's a Superman villain that's just like a trickster. He's just this little annoying thing.
No idea who this is. Like, I was hoping you'd tell me, so I'm glad you mentioned it now, but
He's just a complete, like, goofy character. I'm pretty sure it's gotta be him. I'm gonna Google him real quick. I know who the character is, but he looks a little different there, so Mxyzptlk. His name's hard to hard to spell. It's MXYZPTLK. The only even way I even remembered how to say it and how to spell it is because HeroScape that I play. He's a character in there, so I'm aware of him. Yeah, that is him. So he's he's just a pain in the ass trickster. So he's like a really hard thing to kill. So yeah. So he blasted Trigon, put him out, and everyone else is knocked out as well. And he says, "Leave my Superman alone," and that's where we're left off for the issue. So things are ramping up still. We're not sure what's up with the House of Mystery. What's the big deal about that house? Seemingly they know the Joker might be in control of the Spectre, or at least that's what it's implied, that Deadwing is of the impression of. And who knows what the hell Mr. Mxyzptlk is going to do in all of this. And we lost Detective Chimp and Clarion.
And I think you're probably right about Harley. It's sounding more and more like Harley summoned or teamed up with a magic user to try to bring back the Joker. I didn't think about that. I feel like that would have been the best guess at this point, but it just didn't occur to me until you mentioned it.
Yeah, I mean, just the way it's drawn. I mean, she could have no role in all this, but the way that, like, she's in the background going through a portal as he's saying those words, like, talking, explaining that it was Jokerized and laughing hysterically. To me, that looks like foreshadowing. Like, he's talking about it and she's walking out at the same time. It just seemed very well placed on purpose like that. So, who knows? I mean, we'll find out. But yeah.
Well, I can't wait to find out, because becoming the Spectre is a big deal. That doesn't just happen. So I really am curious how they're going to end up explaining that. But yeah, that is super. And she looks all guilty and shit when she's walking, so I don't know. Art's better. The art looks really good. I don't think I have a single art complaint this whole issue. And I like the Trigon stuff too. I think that's a very good setup. Yeah, that's actually pretty much all I have. It was good to see Deadwing and Batman together. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I want to see more interaction between them. Like, I want to see more emotion and, like, you know, like, oh my god, this is amazing type of thing. So it just seemed they didn't have the time to have that interaction right now, obviously, because everything the shit hit the fan, so to speak. So they need to get the hell out of there first. So I'm curious to see where that leads to. Curious to see where Mxyzptlk comes. Like I said, what he's going to do, what the House of Mystery is all about, and following up on the Joker potentially being the Spectre aspect, how that all came to be. So yeah, there's some good plot threads going on right now that we'll see some follow-up. And yeah, we're leading up to the finale, so we still got 3 issues left. So interesting, plus an annual. So anyways, that does it for this issue, guys. We'll see you again tomorrow for whatever issue comes next, if it's the annual or whatever's going on. But we'll see you tomorrow, guys. Adios. Take care.
Peace.